Hey guys, and welcome to Off the Cuff. Today I'm going to talk about monetization and some of my planned strategies. Alright, so I've had a couple of people on my channel ask me about what I'm planning to do with my games as far as monetizing them goes, and I can't say that I've got a lot of experience with HTML5 yet. I have sold a few licenses to sponsors in the past. That was a couple of years ago when I was pretty much just coming out of the Flash era, so things could have changed since then, and I'm not completely sure how things are now, but I am planning to put that one on the top of my list. Now, a lot of people say, I'm just going to start with this one, a lot of people say that a contract, is a bit iffy when it comes to ways to monetize on the ways to monetize. Now, they're referring mainly to iOS and Android, and I feel like people put iOS and Android on a high priority list, and I don't always necessarily feel like that's a good idea. I think that on the stores you are very limited by what you can do in order to advertise yourself, and you need to pump in a lot of money or be lucky, and really the spotlight gets given to the people that pump a lot of money, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Look at some of the people in the top. Saying that, you can get featured by some prominent websites, you can get found by an Apple employee and get featured as one of the sort of underdogs, and that's why I'm still wanting to go for that one. However, I'm not necessarily set on it as one of my top options, so I'm just going to try and list my options from top to bottom if I can. And so we're going to start with the sponsors. Basically, non-exclusive sponsorships are a really cool way to monetize your game without giving your rights away. So exclusive would be you giving it to one website and they kind of hold everything about it. You don't really get to do much else with it. Whereas if you sell a non-exclusive, let's say I take my game Dicey Dungeon, that's what it was supposed to be called, Dicey Driving, and I want to sell it. So I sell it to a bunch of sponsors, non-exclusive. All that happens is that you put in their logo for their website, remove any outgoing links, because a lot of these people buy it for websites that are used at schools, things like that. They don't want kids clicking out, going to some other websites and things. So you keep your copyright info in there, but basically you strip it down to the bare bones for them. And you can sell it to multiple people, and you can still publish it wherever else you want, Facebook, Instant, Google Play, iOS, whatever. So that's a really cool way. So that's going to be on the top of my list to try and see what I can do. Now, the second one was going to be instant games. I think one of the best features about Construct is what some people believe is the worst feature about Construct. And I really believe that the best feature of Construct is the fact that it is HTML5. HTML5 and having a good quality engine that runs fast and stays on top of things and makes sure that everything is fixed all the time like Construct does is brilliant, because you now have an engine that you can rely on and you can be confident in when you're selling your product to people. Now, instant games is something that I believe has the potential to go viral. As in, like, if you put a game on Facebook Instant Games or Google Instant Play, whatever, I feel like is a way to, especially with Facebook, is if you put the right features into your game and people can compete it against their friends, then they share it and they send it to their friends. It's sort of almost like a pyramid scheme thing, right? Where if enough people like it, eventually your game is going to, or has the potential to, get big. And I think that's there. So again, I don't know if any of these strategies will work, and I'm going to keep updating you guys with my failures, successes, and whatever. But at the same time, I feel like especially these two, are on the top of my priority list, and I want to give them a really good go. Again, not sure what's going to happen, but we'll see. Now, next one down will be a long-term one that both the coming up ones will be long-term ones. One of them is Patreon, one of them is my website. Now, website is something that normally I would monetize using ads and things. So that is still a thing that I'm thinking about. in some one way or another, whether it's possibly in the future selling ad space, renting ad slots, I don't know yet. Affiliate marketing, selling merch in some way, or just Google Ads and stuff. So I don't yet know what I'll do, but that is one of my other monetization strategies. Now, Patreon is a long-term one because I'm not going to start it for a while. I first of all want to build up a community and people that like watching my videos, things like that. And eventually, I still want to obviously always give away stuff for free. Like I want to do my tutorials, things like that. But if people want to support me in the future, awesome. I also don't yet know what I will do for Patreon. Maybe early access to stuff. I don't know, but more likely it's going to be special things like one-on-ones or coaching of some sort. If I feel like I have the knowledge and something to provide to somebody at that point, once I've been doing this long enough, that's what I'm planning to do. So again, don't yet know what shape that will take, but I will dwell on it for a while over the next year or so, and then I will put it into action. But something around tutorials, prototypes, game mechanics, possibly coaching, stuff like that. So next up on the list is iOS and Android. They're pretty low on the ladder because, again, like I said before, I don't necessarily believe that it's that easy. I want to give it a go, and I believe that in order to win a lottery, you got to be in it, right? So if you got to put your ticket in, so that's like your game. So if you put enough tickets in, you've got a chance of winning something. Might not be the big prize, might be, but it's still exposure. And if enough people like it, who knows? It might get featured. Who knows? The other thing about it is that with iOS and Android, it's like providing that extra little service to people that really, really like that part and they really want to have an app and they are a fan of what you do. So it's sort of like catering to everybody, which can be difficult and not always the right thing to do. However, I'm not talking catering to everybody as far as game ideas go. I'm talking catering to people that want to play your game and you have the possibility to provide them with what they're asking for without too much hassle, which Construct actually makes pretty easy right now. It's debatable. So we'll see. I'll try and release as many games as I can, see how it goes. If it is extremely time consuming, I'll see whether it's worth the investment. However, if it's not and it makes people happy and gives me those few extra players that like playing my games but really want to play them on their phones, then cool. The other thing to consider is that these days I believe it's important to have many streams. I think if you're not yet sure exactly what works, you got to try it, and in order to know what works, you got to really test everything out. So for me, I'm going to try everything. I'm going to try as many ways of monetizing my games as possible, and as soon as I see some working better than others, I'm going to put more resources and time into those. And that is basically how I'm going to make things run, and I'm going to update you guys on how it goes and my pitfalls and my failures and successes and whatever, and we'll see what happens. Now, I really do believe that whole stream analogy, many streams add up to a river. You can be lucky and you can have a river immediately, or you can strike it lucky in a year's time after you release 50 apps like Rovio did. It's one of those articles most game devs have read, I think. Or you can just have a whole bunch of okay performing apps that all bring in a few bucks, which in turn give you a couple of thousand of those, a couple of thousand a month, and then you have livable wage. So there are many ways to do the same thing. Many ways lead to Rome. There's that saying that I don't like saying. Many ways to skin the thing. I really don't like that saying. So
all roads lead to Rome.
It's a bad saying. Yeah. Now, There are other ideas I have for monetizing my games. However, I am not going to yet talk about those in detail until they're more well formed. Just quickly, I do want to do some fun stuff to my website, have some achievements in the future, cross-thread my games, have people, give people a reason to stay on there and play other games, maybe some downloadable rewards, things like that. So I am planning to make that a part of what I do and make it a fun place for people to be, just my games. The other thing, really quick, is that if this is something that comes my way, I'm not overly going to look for it just yet, but there is also contract work. There is also things where people can ask you to make them a game. They can ask you to make them a sequel to one of your games, and there is also things like renting. We'll see how it goes. Some game devs I've seen do this sort of thing, and I'm not sure how viable or how it works, but we'll give it a go. So again, check in here, and I will let you guys know how everything goes, and we'll talk about it. You guys post your questions down below. If you have any suggestions or ideas, or you just want to ask something, I'm happy to answer anything. So conversation. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, and I will talk to you, whatever I do here in the next episode of The Cuff.